Most men over 60 are doing everything right in the gym and still losing muscle every single year. If that's you, it's not your effort, it's not your age. It's one daily window you don't even know exists. And the 5% of men who stay muscular for life, they're using it every single day without thinking twice. By the time this video ends, you're going to know exactly what that window is, what's happening inside your body during it, and how to use it starting tomorrow morning. Stay with me. After 30 years as an exercise physiologist, I measured testosterone, cortisol, and muscle protein synthesis in hundreds of men in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And the single most consistent difference between the men who stayed muscular for life and the men who kept shrinking was not their training program. It was not their protein intake. It was what they did or didn't do in one specific window every single morning. I want you to think about something. What did you do in the first 30 minutes after you woke up today? Most men grab their phone, some make coffee, some skip breakfast, some sit, and every single one of those choices is sending a signal to your body, a biological instruction that either protects your muscle or accelerates its breakdown. And after 60, your body is listening harder than it ever has. Here's what the science confirms. In the morning, specifically within the first 30 to 45 minutes of waking, your cortisol levels are at their daily peak. This is called the cortisol awakening response. It is a natural biological process. But in men over 60, elevated morning cortisol without the right countersignal becomes catabolic, meaning your body begins breaking down muscle tissue for fuel. This happens whether you went to the gym yesterday or not. The 5% of men who stay muscular, they have discovered, either by instinct or by knowledge, how to counter that morning cortisol spike. And it comes down to 3 specific things done in sequence during that first window. I spent 3 decades measuring this. I applied it myself at 59 when I watched my own muscle begin retreating despite everything I knew. What I'm about to show you is the protocol that changed everything, not just for me, but for the men I spent my career working with. Point 1. The morning anabolic window is real, but you've been told the wrong version. You've probably heard the phrase anabolic window. Most fitness content tells you it's the 30 minutes after your workout when you need protein. That's a partial truth. And for men over 60, obsessing over the post-workout window while ignoring the morning window is like locking the back door and leaving the front door wide open. Here is what is actually happening in your body between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Your growth hormone, which peaked during deep sleep, is declining. Your cortisol is surging. Your muscle protein synthesis rate, the rate at which your body builds and repairs muscle, is at its most sensitive point of the entire day. This is the moment your biology is most responsive to the right input. And most men over 60 are sending the wrong signal, or no signal at all. Research confirms that muscle protein synthesis is primed during the early morning recovery window following overnight fasting. The longer you delay protein and movement after waking, the more your body tips toward catabolism, muscle breakdown, especially in aging men where anabolic sensitivity is already reduced compared to younger men. This concept, anabolic resistance, is one of the most important things men over 60 need to understand. Your body does not respond to protein and movement signals the way it did at 35. The threshold is higher, the window is narrower, and the cost of missing it is steeper. This is not discouraging. This is the information that changes everything, because once you know the threshold, you can hit it. Now, I want to stop here and do something we've never done on this channel before. I want you to do one thing right now in the comments section. Type your age and one word that describes how your body feels in the morning when you first wake up. One word. That's it. Could be stiff, could be slow, could be strong, could be tired. Here's why this matters beyond just a comment. When I see your one word, I know exactly where you are physiologically. And I'm going to be reading every single comment. The most common word that comes up, I'm going to build an entire video around it. You're not just commenting, you're programming what this channel teaches next. So drop your age and your one word right now. I'll be in the comments. Point 2, the 3-signal morning protocol, the 5% use every day. The men who stay muscular for life are not doing complicated things in the morning. They are doing 3 specific things in the right order that send the right biological signals during that anabolic window. Here's each one. Signal 1, mechanical stimulus. Before cortisol peaks, within the first 10 minutes of waking, the 5% move. Not a full workout, not a gym session, a targeted mechanical stimulus, bodyweight movement that activates the primary muscle groups and signals the nervous system that the body is needed. Think slow, deliberate push-up variations, hip hinges, or band pull-aparts. Nothing explosive. Controlled tension through a full range of motion. Research on resistance-based mechanical stimulation confirms that even low-load movement in the morning blunts the catabolic cortisol response and primes muscle protein synthesis pathways. In men over 60, this signal is particularly important because your neuromuscular activation, the communication between your brain and your muscle fibers, slows overnight. Morning movement restores that connection before the day begins. Signal 2. Fast protein. Fast within 30 to 45 minutes of waking, 40 grams of high-quality protein. Not 20. 40. This is the threshold the research points to for men over 60 to overcome anabolic resistance and trigger meaningful muscle protein synthesis. This study, and I want you to look at this on screen, confirmed that older men require a significantly higher per meal protein dose than younger men to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis. 20 grams is not enough after 60. The threshold shifts. 40 grams in the morning window is the signal that tells your body, build, don't break. Signal 3, light exposure and hydration as hormonal anchors. The third signal is the one almost nobody talks about. Within the first morning window, 500 to 600 milliliters of water, ideally with a small amount of sodium, consumed before coffee. And if possible, natural light exposure for 5 to 10 minutes. This is not wellness content. This is cortisol regulation physiology. Morning light exposure anchors your circadian rhythm, which directly regulates testosterone production cycles in aging men. And dehydration, even mild dehydration at waking, elevates cortisol. You're fighting your own hormonal environment before the day even starts if you skip these 2 steps. These 3 signals together, movement, protein, light, and hydration, create what I call a morning anabolic stack. Sequenced correctly, they shift your body from catabolic breakdown to anabolic building during the most sensitive hormonal window of your day. Point 3. Why 95% of men over 60 never discover this mainstream fitness content is built for men in their 30s. The protocols, the timing recommendations, the protein targets, they are designed around anabolic sensitivity that men over 60 no longer have, is teaching the adjusted version. That is why 95% of men doing everything right, training hard, eating protein, sleeping well, are still losing half a pound of muscle every year after 60. Research tracking muscle mass across the lifespan confirmed that men lose between 3% and 8% of muscle mass per decade after 30, and the rate accelerates significantly after 60. That is not inevitable loss. That is unaddressed anabolic resistance. The men who close that gap are the men who learn to work with their biology, not the biology they had at 35. In my clinical practice, the men who got this right, the ones still building muscle at 72, at 75, at 78, they had one thing in common. They were not training harder than everyone else. They were training with more precision. They understood the window. They understood the threshold. And they protected their mornings the way serious men protect their most valuable asset. Because after 60, your morning is your most valuable training asset. What you do in the first 45 minutes sets your hormonal environment for the entire day. Protect it. Use it. Here is the bottom line. The men over 60 who stay muscular for life are not genetic outliers. They are not on something. They have discovered one daily practice, a morning protocol built around the actual physiology of the aging male body, that the other 95% were never taught. 3 signals, 1 window, 45 minutes. That's the gap between the man who keeps building and the man who keeps losing. You now have the map. The men who act on this, who take these 3 signals and sequence them starting tomorrow morning, are the ones who will be in the 5% 2 years from now. The choice is the same as it always is. Information without action is just entertainment. Make this your morning starting tomorrow. If this is the kind of training intelligence you want every week, subscribe. We put out videos weekly, and everyone is built for men serious about